Welcome back, guys, to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where last episode we talked to Nikolina Pavlova about what she knew of last night's events, only to learn she knew nothing. With a friend, also a topic she wasn't willing to answer on, we soon found ourselves chucked out of the cabin by Biff Stroganoff. Checking back in Kazuma's cabin, we found a beaten Inspector Hosonaga who had paid a toll for our ability to investigate, obtaining a post-mortem report from him before returning to Nikolina's fortunately unguarded cabin, only to find we might need the eagle eyes of Herlock Sholmes to proceed. Hey, Herlock! Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's gonna turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay, I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky Herlock was about. Excuse me? I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now was as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing and no happens, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes. Nothing to report. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet... the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing and nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I will stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. The ship's log has been entered into the court record. Why, thank you very much. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes, Sholmes. Brilliance! Ooh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Wait, I didn't need you? I thought... He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susanoo-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing? Oh, you too? Okay then, well we took the book. Now what? Did he move to Miss Pavlova's cabin? No? So is there more for me to examine here that I didn't examine before? Well, I guess I should check the ship's log, though I'm assuming, of course. Yeah, it's just the fact that nothing to reports have been written, as he said. And there's no way I can flip it, I don't think. Or there's nothing I can real magnify. It'd be funny if there was. I can't flip that round. Post-mortem report. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2. Male, Far Eastern. Okay. Mark on the floor that we have there. With that bell. Okay, so there must be more for me to have a look at. It's important. I don't think it's going to be like that kind of stuff, because we know what that is, so what's important? There's one of these next to the bed in Kazma's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. Will someone come this time? She barely hesitated there. She gave it a good tug, too. Ooh, bell. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Ooh. So this ventilator connects to Kazma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open the ventilator into another room. Ah, maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Okay, nothing as of yet. Well, I guess all I can really do is examine everything at this point. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's the god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? All right, then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over. In a fit of rage? Sure. Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again, and here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. We keep cleaning up. Oh, okay, that's what we had to do. Ah, what's that? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter mile 4. Full stop, hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susanna-san, hold on to me. Wah! Susanna-san, are you all right? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness! What about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? Look at that! The door's bolted! Did you do that, Susanna-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I better tidy this place up first. Why? It wasn't you who caused it. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. As our second bit comes to an end pretty fast. Though I did expect that to be the lock case because of course, the knocked over books with the indication that maybe it just slid across. I was going to ask if someone greased it or something, but we never even got to that. It just showed us straight away. So with that, we move on, knowing how it became a locked room murder. However, there's still more explanations required. And everyone smacked their head on walls and beds and stuff by the looks of it. Maybe. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Suzuda-san took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolt. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder, dressed all in black. You are the devil. Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No. We didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It is not enough that he has killed a man. And he is stowaway as well. And Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away. Trespassing. Killing. She is right. You are devil. He doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Osanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Okay. Examine. Talk. You've got yourself into a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. I really need some help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. We're looking for a person, are we? I'm guessing I can't move, right? I somehow doubt we should be able to leave here. Then... dare I? Maybe not. Miss Pavlova, can I... get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but... get out, now! We just needed to investigate in here to help understand what happened to... it's no use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. You'll help, right? Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you, except show your way to ship's prison cell. Thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. And trespassing and stowing away? Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues. And, well... enough. You are guilty. Ship's cell is only a place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone. Some savior to rescue me from this crisis. Why are you even there? What the... what are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. You again. The great detective. Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Burlia, has been solved. By me, naturally. What? What? Really? Yes, I've eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all of your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Here we go again. Ha! You have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is his stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes. It's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Locked room, that is point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. Are you really saying, whatever entrance? We never discovered one. Why? It gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator? Ha 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 ha. You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible. But it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cause. Behold! Yeah! Ah! What the? Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band. A snake, indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap. How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I am sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. And number one, last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No! She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. Yeah, you can't speak, can you? Ha! Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Well, as regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal could only be the snake's sloughed skin, sloughed. But evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friends lived next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Conclusion, a beloved speckled snake. Topic 2, how Mr. Asogi died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that linked you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you would use to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. You deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true! Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt, my logic is infallible. Topic 2. Death by a venomous snake's bite. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction of the Speckled Band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You've solved the mystery! But has he, though? I'm sure there are many corrections to make. But I'm pretty sure Ryunosuke's like, oh, at least I'm off the leash, in a sense. Sure, I'm definitely off the hook, would be a better word to use. But of course, we know his great deductions are not infallible, as he so says. So, join me next episode as we dance with him in order to correct everything that's wrong and get to possibly the real truth of thing. Put your hands up in the comments below if you thought gas was any part of this, by the way, and that was a tube going through from the other room early on. Because I definitely did, and it's definitely not gone that way. Just like with the glass. Join me next time for more Great Ace Attorney Adventures. I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.